The White House says it will take 2 weeks for Donald Trump to decide whether America will attack Iran, as Israel and Iran continue to target each other with waves of powerful and destructive missile attacks. Israel's defence minister, speaking after a hospital in the country's south was hit by an Iranian missile, says Iran's supreme leader can no longer be allowed to exist.
But Washington believes there's still a substantial chance of negotiations with Tehran in the near future. Let's go straight to Middle East correspondent Eric Turchek, who's in Jerusalem, and North America correspondent Lauren Day in Washington. Lauren, I'll start with you. What has the White House had to say about US involvement in the conflict?
Well, Catherine, there had been mounting speculation that a decision was imminent, but the White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt has now said that the president will make his decision within 2 weeks, basically buying him some time to reach a deal. She said that this was based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations with Iran. But she also said that the top priority is reaching a deal that would stop them from obtaining a nuclear weapon or from being able to enrich uranium to a point in which they could do so. She also claimed that Iran had never been closer to obtaining a nuclear weapon and that they could do that within weeks if they just decided to. That's actually at odds with what we've been hearing from both US and Israeli intelligence officials who've said that, it could be actually months or even years away. She also declined to say whether Donald Trump would seek authorization from Congress before launching any strikes on Iran, which is an interesting point to make. This is what she told reporters a short time ago.
The president is always interested in a diplomatic solution to the problems and the global conflicts in this world. Again, he is a peacemaker in chief. He is the peace through strength president. And so if there's a chance for diplomacy, the president's always going to grab it. But he's not afraid to use strength as well, I will add.
Now, foreign ministers from Britain, France and Germany are set to hold nuclear talks with their Iranian counterparts on Friday in Geneva. And Donald Trump's been facing a lot of international pressure, including from the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who has urged him to step back from military action. He said that there's a real risk of escalation in the conflict. But as well as that international pressure, he's also been facing a lot of internal pressure within the party, within his MAGA base, from the likes of Steve Bannon, Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who are all urging him to stay out of this conflict. Caroline Leavitt was asked whether or not that was a factor in Donald Trump's decision to set this 2-week deadline for making a decision, and she said that the president hears all voices across the country and makes decisions based on his instincts. But obviously everyone will be hoping that those instincts are based on and informed by facts and by intelligence as he makes what could be a very monumental decision.
It certainly will be. Now let's cross to Eric, who is in Israel. They're ramping up strikes on Iran. What's the latest?
There's reports of intense strikes inside Iran, Catherine, but very difficult to get a clear picture about what's going on there. The Israeli military says it's been attacking missile launches, missile production sites, also the Iranian nuclear facility at Arak, where there's an incomplete reactor. The Israeli Air Force has reportedly struck that and is trying to damage the reactor core at the Arak site. So Israel is also saying it's expanding the scope of its attacks inside Iran, striking deeper into central and now even eastern Iran, where a lot of the Iranian Air Force assets have been transferred. A lot of Iran's planes were sent to the east to prevent them being destroyed by Israeli jets, but Israel says it's now going after other targets in the east of the country as well. So the strikes are ramping up from the Israeli side, with Israel's defense minister saying that the Israeli military will now target strategic assets linked to the Iranian government in an attempt to weaken it. And Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has said that may even lead to regime collapse.
People ask me, are we targeting the downfall of the regime? That may be a result, but it's up to the Iranian people to rise for their freedom. Freedom is never cheap. It's never free. Freedom requires these subjugated people to rise up, and it's up to them. But we may create conditions that will help them do it. Our goal is twofold. Nuclear, ballistic missile, we're going to remove that. We are in the process of completing removing this threat.
And Eric, what's the latest on the ground there in Israel?
So there are still restrictions, but they were relaxed somewhat, Catherine. I mean, I think there was surprise at how damaging the last wave of Iranian missile strikes to hit central Israel and southern Israel were. 76 people wounded, no deaths, but quite a lot of damage to residential and commercial areas and that hospital that was hit in southern Israel, the Soroka Medical Center. So the warnings from the Israeli military are that it has destroyed around 2/3 of the Iranian missile launches, but it still retains the capacity to launch waves of missiles. It's smaller than the Israeli military expected. The barrages haven't been as intense for as long as the Israeli military expected, but in Israel, people are being warned that deadly waves of ballistic missiles could still penetrate Israel's air defences in the days to come.